Hey everyone, welcome to the video. My name is Dwane Thomas. I'm the author of Visual Latin and Word Up, which you can find linked down below. We are in first year Latin by Robert Henle. We're in exercise 13, and here we are to translate these sentences and diagram them. So we've been looking at nouns, which you can find if you scroll down on the charts to the second page. We've been looking at nouns for the last few exercises. And now we're adding verbs. So if you go up to the very top of the charts, when the charts are available for free as well, you can find that link down below. It'll take you to my site and you can download them directly to your computer and do whatever you want with them. I tell my students, don't worry about memorizing all the complicated Latin endings. Just print these charts out and keep them nearby. Eventually you will memorize them, but use these charts until you get to that point. If you go to the very first page on the charts, you'll find the active verbs. And here we have the word voco in restored classical pronunciation. People will say voco, voco or voco, vocas, vocat, vocamos, vocatis, vocant. And this is I call, you call, he, she, or it calls, we call, you all call, they call. Everything above this line is singular, and everything below the large line there is plural. You can see it's slightly grayed out here, whereas up here there's no color at all. The slightly grayed endings and verbs are plural. Okay, so here we have vocant, which means they call, monent, which means they warn, ponunt, which means they put or place, audiunt, which means they hear or listen, sunt means they are. And notice that we're using a lot of nt verbs here. Here we have orant, they pray, laudant, they praise, laudant, they praise, laudant, they praise, vident, they see, laudant, they praise, laudant, they praise, vident, they see. So the verbs are repeated, but the pattern is the same. We're going to be using these endings here, ant and ent. So here we have vocant, they call, monent, they warn. Okay, so if we go down here and we start tackling these sentences grammatically, we end up with Christiani, subject of the sentence, nominative case. You know what, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger for us. Looks like that's as large as I'm able to go. So we're going to scroll down. We're in exercise 13. Here we have Christiani, subject of the sentence, nominative case. If we looked down at the second declension nouns, we're not going to do that. We'd have Christianus would act like equus. Christianus would be a Christian. Christiani would be the Christians. And notice Christiani is plural and it matches up with orant, which is also plural. A-N-T at the end. We have this ANT ending here, which is plural. Christiani orant, the Christians pray. Number 2, amici Dei Christianos laudant. Amici, subject of the sentence, nominative case. We've taken the word amicus and made it plural, amici. In restored classical pronunciation, people are going to say amici. I use the Italian or ecclesiastical pronunciation, so amici. Amici, and then the verb is laudant. I always double underline verbs, and I'll put a V above the verb. So amici laudant, whom? They laudant Christianos. Christianos is the direct object and is in the accusative case. And they are praising, laudant Christianos Dei. Deus has become Dei because it's in the genitive case. So amici Dei Christianos laudant. The friends of God are praising the Christians. I said we weren't going to scroll down, but here we are. I am going to scroll down because I want to point out that we have equus here, and if we were praising the horses, for example, we would be praising equus. Here we're praising the Christians, and Christians acts like this word horse, Christianus, let's say, changes to Christianos in the accusative plural. All right, our next sentence, number 3, Christiani, subject of the sentence, nominative case. It's plural, Christiani. It acts just like equus, but we've changed it now to Christiani with this ending here, the nominative plural ending. Christiani laudant, verb. Christiani laudant filium, direct object. Notice we took the word filius. We pretended it's not equus up here, but filius. And we are praising, the Christians are praising the filium, the son, direct object, accusative case. By the way, I always put direct objects in a box. And I'll write DO above it, even though I know that's hard to see, and then ACC below it for accusative. Christiani filium Dei laudant. And then who are they praising? They're praising the filium Dei. Dei is a prepositional phrase in English, so I put it in parenthesis, and it's in the genitive case. Number 4. Christiani Mariam laudant. Christiani, subject of the sentence, nominative case. Christianus has become Christiani. Christiani laudant, verb, they praise. That ANT ending there tells us it's a plural verb. Christiani laudant Mariam. Maria here has become Mariam, direct object accusative case. All right. Number 5, nautae servos non vident. Nautae servos non vident. Nautae, subject of the sentence. Nautae, subject of the sentence, nominative case. What are we saying about the nautae? Nautae non vident, verb. Vident means they see. Non vident, I always circle adverbs, and non is always an adverb. Nautae servos non vident. Servos, direct object, accusative case. And if we looked up here, we'd have servus, servos, direct object, accusative case. The sailors do not see the slaves. Number 6, servi, subject of the sentence, nominative case. What are they doing? Laudant, verb. Servi laudant. Servi laudant quem. They praise whom? They praise Christianos. The slaves praise the Christians. Christianus has changed to Christianos. Direct object, accusative case. Gloriam Dei vident. Mr. Henle is trying to trick us here. Where's the subject? The subject is actually the verb. It's the verb ending. So if we go up here we have I, you, he, she, or it, we, you, all, they. That's how you would translate these endings. So we don't have a subject here. This is a direct object. It's in the accusative case. So we put it in a box. You don't have to use these symbols, but I always use the same symbols so my students get used to the patterns. Gloriam Dei. Dei is in the genitive case. And then we have the verb vident, they see. So where's the subject? The subject is actually this ending here. And you can write above it if you want, subject, but you don't have to. It's just included with the verb. Vocant means they call. Monent means they warn. Ponunt means they put or place. Orient means they hear. Sunt means they are. Vident means they see. So by the way, where we get the word evident, easily seen. Something evident is easily seen. Number 9, Christiani, subject of the sentence, nominative case. What are they doing? They're praising. Laudant, verb. Oh, by the way, let's pause on that. Back to number 8. They see the glory of God. Forgot to translate it. They see the glory of God. Number 9, Christiani Christum laudant. Christiani, subject of the sentence, laudant, verb. They praise. The Christians praise. The Christians praise Christum. We've taken the word Christus and we've changed it to Christum. Okay. Christus has become Christum. All right, number 10. Maria et Christus amicus Dei laudant. Maria, subject of the sentence, nominative case. Et is a conjunction. It joins these two words together. Maria and Christus are joined together by this conjunction. Always write a C above conjunctions. Maria et Christus. Christus is another subject of the sentence, nominative case. So there's two subjects in this one. Maria et Christos laudant, they praise. They praise amicos, direct object, accusative case. They praise amicos Dei, genitive case. Maria and Christ praise the friends of God. Number 11. Deus terram et silvas videt. Deus, subject of the sentence, nominative case. Deus what? Deus videt. Let's go back up to the verbs. Notice here we have videt. All of our other verbs have been plural. We've had laudant and vident and orant. They pray and they praise and they see. Now we have a singular ending here, monet. Monet means he, sure, it warns. Vocat, he, sure, it calls. Ponet, he, sure, it places. Audit, he, sure, it hears. Videt, he, she, or it sees. All right, Deus terram et silvas videt. Deus videt, that's the verb. Deus videt terram, direct object, accusative case. Et, conjunction, et silvas, direct object, accusative case. Nautas et servos et Christianos videt. Again, Mr. Henle is tricking us a little bit here. Here we have monet means he, she, or it warns. If we pretended that's the word videt, then we would have he, she, or it sees. So this is actually the subject, and the whole thing is the verb. So he sees. He sees nautas, direct object, accusative case. It's the plural. He sees servos, direct object, accusative case, also in the plural. You can go down and look at those charts if you want, if you've already got them printed off, which I recommend. Videt Christianos, direct object, accusative case. So he sees the sailors, he sees the slaves, and he sees the Christians. Or he sees the sailors, the servants. Wow, couldn't get that one out. He sees the slaves. Oh my, he sees the sailors, the slaves, and the Christians. We made it. First try. Okay, number 12, Christiani, subject of the sentence, nominative case. Laudant, verb, they praise. They praise filium, direct object, accusative case. So we're changing filius to filium. And then they praise the filium, the son, Mariae, of Mary, and she's in the genitive case. So the Christians praise the Son of Mary. Okay, we're done translating exercise 13. We've analyzed all of these sentences and we translated all these sentences. By the way, what we were doing when we go through and label every part of a sentence, that's called parsing a sentence. It's from the Latin word pars, which means part. So we're dividing a sentence into all of its parts and showing how each part is being used. Another way to demonstrate how something is being used, how a word is being used in a sentence, is through an old practice called diagramming. I don't think people diagram sentences that much anymore, but when I was growing up, we still had to diagram sentences. And in this course, Mr. Henle wants us to diagram sentences. So periodically, he'll tell us to diagram a sentence. So we are to diagram sentence 2, 3, and 10. Okay, here I have the sentences diagrammed. I wrote a book in 2023, 2024 on diagramming sentences, and I've done absolutely nothing with it, but it's still on my computer, so I get to use it whenever I want, and whenever Mr. Henle asks us to diagram something. And so here we go. This is sentence 2. Number 2, we have Amici Dei laudant Christianos, or Amici Dei Christianos laudant. So the friends of God praise the Christians. So when we diagram, we always start with a straight line across. That is not a straight line. We always, okay, we've got this long straight line down here that I'm trying to show you guys, and I'm failing at it. We always start with this long straight line, and then we divide the straight line down the middle. And then we put the subject on the subject side, which is what we've done here, and the verb goes next. If we have a direct object, it goes after a straight stick to the main line. So here we have a direct object, and that's our main sentence. What we're adding in this section is prepositional phrases. So in English, of God is a prepositional phrase, and we would put of on this line here. In Latin, we're using the genitive instead of the word of, so we don't have to put in of God. So we would just draw a slanted line down and then branch a straight line off of that slanted line. And then we would add Dei in the genitive case for of God. So Amici laudant Christianos Dei is how you would diagram this. Okay, we're also supposed to diagram sentence 3. So here we have Christiani, subject of the sentence. What are they doing? Laudant, verb. Who are they praising? They're praising filium, direct object. The filium Dei. They're praising the Son of God. Dei is in the genitive case. So it's always the same thing. We start with this long straight line and divide it down the middle, which we've done. And then the subject goes on the subject side, on the left-hand side of the diagram. The verb goes on the right-hand side of the diagram, which we have right here. Christiani laudant. The direct object goes after a half line to the main line. So here we have filium, the direct object, and since it's the Son of God, since of God is describing the Son, we are going to put the prepositional phrase diagram underneath the word it's describing. So here in English we would write of, but in Latin we don't have to because we use the genitive case. So Christiani laudant filium Dei. Now let's diagram sentence 10. Okay, sentence 10 is a little tricky because we have two subjects here. We have Maria, subject of the sentence, et Christus, subject of the sentence. They laudant, verb, they laudant amicos, direct object, accusative case, Dei, genitive case. Et is a conjunction. So I actually have these incorrectly placed. I should have Maria up here and Christus here. But this is how you diagram a compound subject. When you have more than one subject, it's a compound subject. So you put the subject up here and you put another subject down here on this. My students used to call it a rocket or a sideways house, whatever you want to imagine this is. That's where you place it. You place the subject on one line and the other subject on another line. And then the conjunction goes between these two words on a dotted line. So here we have the conjunction. So we have Christus et Maria. Then we have the verb just like normal. We've split the main line. All we've done here is just divide into two the main line. Then we have the verb over here where it always goes on the right hand side of the split. Then we have a direct object which goes after a half line to the main line. So amicos. And then since it's the friends of God, Mary and Christ are praising the friends of God. And since of God is telling us a little bit more about friends, we put the prepositional phrase underneath amicos. In English, we would put of on this slanted line, but we don't have to in Latin. In Latin, we'll just use the genitive case. All right. Thanks for watching. These videos are going to get longer as we get deeper into the book. So if you're here to the end, thanks for sticking around, and I'll see you guys in the next video.